Yeah, I know how to communicate, brother. I do. It's just that I got a whole lot of fucking trauma from this place, man. So it gets hard for me sometimes, with me speaking and everything like that. That's why I always be doing my videos, man, because I don't know how to speak that well, But that's why the Lord, he told Moses and Aaron, he was like, hey, Aaron, I know you can't speak that well, so I'm gonna use your brother Moses, and he's gonna be the one that's gonna speak. He's gonna speak on my behalf. And you're pretty much going to be the God in front of these Egyptians, in front of Pharaoh, because he refused to let Israel go. See what I'm saying? These spiritual Egyptians out here, man. So, yeah, I know how to communicate, brother. And when everything is said and done, and they come to meet me, and the Lord, the angels and all that good stuff, I'm already going to be ready. That's pretty much what all this was for. The Lord, he was building me up for this point right here. That's why I always tell brothers, man, you got to look at it like spiritual boot camp, because that's pretty much what it was. All these trials and these tribulations, all this hell we've been going through was to this point, man. So what you're going to start noticing is the difference between the spiritually minded and the carnal minded. You're going to notice who was building the treasures in the spiritual riches, because we're still here. I'm still here. I'm still standing. And those that were building in the carnal riches, whether it was cloud, fuels, all that stuff. And because all that shit is passing away right alongside with Babylon. This place is through, man. It's done. It's a wasteland. It's a 3D fucking junkyard. This place don't fucking matter to me. It's just I and I. Just like my roommate said, man. So, I'm over here at the gym. Came over here this morning. All praises to the Most High, His only begotten Son, and the Holy Spirit. Salutations to the 1/3 and the 144. And I just wanted to go into the book of Esther real quick. Chapter 1. I was going to go to the book of Ruth. Just to read that, but the Lord brought me to Esther. We know the story of Ruth. What did Naomi tell Ruth? She was like, hey, I'm not going to leave your side. She went with Ruth. Boaz, he played the part of the kinsman redeemer, and guess what? He redeemed the land. He redeemed Naomi, back to Israel. See what I'm saying? So that's a great story if you want to look into it. Pretty much talks about the importance of the Redeemer. Our Redeemer is Christ. Our Redeemer is those of our kinfolk, of our countrymen, Israel. So, I'm just going to read this real quick. This is the book of Esther, chapter 1, and verse 1. And it says, now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus, this is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India, even unto Ethiopia, over 120 provinces, that in those days when the king Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan the palace. I seen what the brother did there. I seen that. The coolest thing is I don't really say that much because I know these Pharisees are watching, but you brothers that are in the spirit, man, just know that we're in for a wild experience, man. The way that things are gonna play out in these last days, like we read about it, right? But the way it's gonna play out is gonna take a lot of us by surprise, man. Even a lot of people, because the ones that the Lord is really with, they're the ones that the Lord was actually guiding. And a lot of these guys were scoffing, they were mocking, they were doing all this crap, but it's going to be to no avail. But they can't stop prophecy, they can't stop the elect. We're not hoping, we're not hopeful, we're not none of that, man. The elect are going to know that the elect in these last days, man. It just is what it is. So, let me keep on going. Verse 4. When he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his excellent majesty many days, even 180 days, and when these days were expired, the king made a feast unto all the people that were present in Shushan, the palace, both unto great and small, 7 days in the course of the garden of the king's palace, where were white and green and blue hangings fastened with cords of fine linen, and purple to silver rings and pillars of marble. The beds were of gold and of silver, upon a pavement of red and blue and white and black marble. And they gave them drink in vessels of gold, the vessels being diverse one of another, and royal wine in abundance according to the state of the king. And the drinking was according to the law, none did compel, for so the king had appointed to all the officers of his house that they should do according to every man's pleasure. So what was King Ahasuerus having? He was having a great feast in his kingdom. It says, and the drinking was according to the law, none did compel, for so the king had appointed to all the officers of his house that they should do according to every man's pleasure. Also Vashti the queen made a feast for the women in the royal house which belonged to King Ahasuerus. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was made with wine, he commanded Mahuman, Biphtah, Harbona, Bigta, and Abacta, Setar, and Carcass, the 7 chamberlains that serve in the presence of Ahasuerus the king, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the princess her beauty, for she was fair to look upon. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him. So what did Vashti do? She dishonored the king. Alright? But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him. Then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, for so was the king's manner towards all that knew the law and judgment. And next to him was Karshena, Shetar, Admata, Tarshish, Maris, Marsena, and Mamukan, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face, which sat at the first in the kingdom. It says, what shall we do unto the queen Vashti according to the law? Because she has not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlains. And Mamukan answered before the king and the princess, Vashti the queen has not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that were in the provinces of King Ahasuerus. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all the women, so that they should despise her husband in their eyes, when it should be reported. The king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not. Likewise, so the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princesses which have heard of the deeds of the queen. Thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before King Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she. So pretty much Vashti, she dishonored the king because she didn't want to come. So the king's like, well, we're gonna look for somebody else that's better than her. So Vashti, bye-bye. Do you understand what I'm saying? And when the king's decree, which he shall make, should be published throughout all his empire, for it is great, all the wives shall give to their husbands honor, both to great and small. And the same pleased the king and the princes, and the king did according to the word of Mamukum, for he sent letters to all the king's provinces, unto every province according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, that every man should bear rule in his own house, and that it should be published according to the language of every people. I'm going to keep on going, chapter 2. It says, after these things, when the wrath of King Ahasuerus was appeased, he remembered Vashti and what she had done, and what was decreed against her. Then said the king's servant that ministered unto him, Let there be fair young virgins sought for the king, and let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan the palace, to the house of the woman, who unto the custody of his the king's chamberlains, keeper of the woman, and let their things be for purification be given unto him. And let the maidens which pleases the king be queen instead of Vashti, and the thing pleased the king, and he did so. So they're pretty much looking for someone that's going to replace Vashti. Now in Shushan the palace there was a certain Jew, whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish, a Benjamite, who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity, which had been carried away with Jeconiah, king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away. And he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter. For she had neither father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter. So it came to pass, when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan the palace, to the custody of Haggai, just making sure, to the custody of Haggai, keeper of the woman, and the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him, and he speedily gave her the things for her purification, with such things as belonged to her, and 7 maidens which were meet to be given her, out of the king's house, and he preferred her and her maids unto the best place at the house of the woman. Esther had not yet showed her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had changed her, that she should not change it, that she should not show it. And Mordecai walked every day before the court of the woman's house to know how Esther did, and what should become of her. Now when every maid's turn was to come in unto King Ahasuerus, after that she had been 12 months according to the manner of the woman, for so were the days of the purification accomplished, to wit 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odors, and with other things for the purifying of the woman. Then thus came every maiden unto the king. Whatsoever she desired was given unto her, to go with her out of the house of the woman unto the king's house. In the evening she went, and on the morrow she returned into the second house of the woman, to the custody of Shaalgaz, the king's chamberlains, which kept the concubines. She came in unto the king no more, except the king delighted in her, and that she were called by name. Now when the turn of Esther, the daughter of I beheld the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken her for her daughter, was come in to go unto the king, she required nothing but what Haggai the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the woman, appointed. And Esther obtained favor in the sight of all them that looked upon her. So Esther was taken unto King Ahasuerus unto his house, royal, in the 10th month, which is the month of Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. And the king loved Esther above all the women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. So Vashti, sorry. The king, he understands, man. Then the queen made a great feast unto all his princes and his servants, even Esther's feast, and he made a release to the provinces and gave gifts according to the estate of the king. And when the virgins were gathered together the second time, then Mordecai sat in the king's gate. Esther had not yet shown her kindred nor her people, as Mordecai had charged her, for Esther did the commandment of Mordecai, like as when she was brought up with him. In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, 2 of the king's chamberlains, Bigtan and Teresh, of those which kept the door, were wroth, and sought to lay hands on King Ahasuerus. And the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it unto Esther the queen, and Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name. And when the inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out, and therefore they were both hanged on a tree, and it was written in the book of the Chronicles before the king. So what happens with Esther and Mordecai? Ahasuerus, he sees Esther. You know, she's a Jew. She's pretty beautiful. She's a Jew. So, due to what Vashti did, Vashti, that hard-headed nincompoop that didn't want to listen, Ahasuerus, he's like, man, get Vashti out of here, man, and we're going to say Esther. So what happens? Esther, she becomes, she's put in a high position in King Ahasuerus' kingdom. See what I'm saying? It's all going to be a reason, because she's going to deliver her people out of their afflictions, man. So pretty much with that, all praises to the Most High, His only begotten Son, and the Holy Spirit. Salutations to the 1/3 man, woman, and children, and to the 144,000 men. You brothers out there, keep the faith and continue to endure, man. All right, I'm still here. I'm still pushing through. You know, Superman, Lex Luthor, all that. I'm not afraid, man. I'm not afraid. Why? Because I am Superman. I am Lex Luthor. I am, you know. But that's a whole different topic, you know. I just wanted to point that out. So anyways, with that, man, peace and grace and shalom. I'm out.